Most high performers don't have an income problem. They have a pressure problem. And I didn't really understand that until I was sitting in rooms where the numbers are real. I mean, real, real. Not growth strategy real. I'm talking decisions where one move could swing everything. And what I noticed in this, the higher the stakes got, the more people started making safe decisions that look good on paper. But that quietly slowed everything down. And nobody calls it fear. They call it being responsible or being careful, or maybe I'm just thinking things through. But I'll tell you, a lot of it is just people changing how they move under pressure without even thinking about it. And if you ever felt like you were doing literally everything right, but your income just won't go up or grow, this is probably why. By the end of this, you'll see why pressure changes your thinking in real time, why entrepreneurs or high performers cap themselves when everything starts working, and then what you need to change within the next 48 hours so you stop repeating the same cycle or hitting that ceiling. And if I'm being honest, you're probably gonna see yourself at some point in this video. Most people who feel stuck, they don't look stuck. They look like they're doing a lot. They're moving, answering messages, busy, optimizing, or basically just staying on top of whatever they got going on. And so from the outside, that looks solid. But I've sat around investors, high performers, and founders, but the one thing that I noticed that's uncomfortable is that when pressure rises, decision quality starts to drop. It changes their personality. People become more cautious, and then they call it strategy. And then they start delaying things they already decided on, or they overthink things that they used to move very quickly on. And you might have heard this before. People start protecting the downside versus building on the upside. And the worst part about all of this, it feels responsible in the moment. So then you start telling yourself, I just want to be smart about this, or I don't want to rush into it, or let me think about this a little bit longer. And maybe that is true sometimes, but sometimes it could be hesitation, just wearing fancy clothes or a business suit. And you probably felt this before too. The closer you get to something, the more the noise starts showing up in your head, or you get more distractions. And it's not because you don't know what to do, it's because the stakes are starting to feel a little bit different. It's getting higher now, more pressure. I saw this really clearly at my time working at Silicon Valley Bank. I was around deals, real money moving around. I'm talking real pressure. And everything looks calm on the surface in these environments. But underneath all of this, it's just constant decision making, like constant weight on your shoulders. And I remember noticing something about myself at the time. I wasn't thinking less because I was unprepared. I was thinking less clearly because the pressure kept stacking faster than my ability to process it. And instead of slowing down, I did what most people do. I tightened up. I started being more controlling. I started second guessing myself more. I literally tried to optimize everything. And from the outside, nothing looked wrong. But internally, my ass was cooked. I was basically just managing pressure. And that's when it clicked to me. It wasn't about discipline. It was about managing capacity under pressure. So it started making me think, most people don't rise to the level of their ambition. They stabilize at the level of pressure that they can handle without spiraling out of control. And that's the ceiling. It's not about talent. It's not about strategy. It's about pressure tolerance. And the tricky part about all of this, you don't even feel it forming. You just started saying things or noticing things like, I'll do it next week. Oh, let me refine this or tweak this first. Or the big one, now's not the right time. And so over time, those moments start to become your income ceiling. So it's not one big decision. It's basically a pattern of small ones. So the first one is called productive procrastination. This is when you stay busy instead of actually making the decision that moves things forward. So that could look like more research, more planning, more tweaking. So in your mind, it feels responsible, but it's basically avoidance with structure. Because when you have real movement, it creates exposure. And then exposure creates that pressure. So then the brain starts choosing preparation instead of execution. And most people don't even realize they're doing it. So then it turns into number two, which is crazy. It's chaos addiction. And this one's even quieter. A lot of high performers or entrepreneurs don't do well during calm season. So when things start slowing down, it feels off. So unconsciously, you just create this internal pressure. So that could look like something new where you're creating a business or changing directions and causing like different complexities within your business that weren't even there in the first place. And it's not because you even need it. It's just because calm feels unfamiliar. And if you're being honest, a lot of people don't even fear failure. They fear what happens when things start to get still or they calm down. Because most of the time, stillness forces reflection. And a lot of people don't want to sit with that. So then when you get into the stillness or the calm phase, movement starts to look like friction. So that takes you to number 3, which is motion without movement. And this is the modern trap. You consume everything. You listen to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, reading a bunch of self-help books. So then you start feeling sharp because it looks like you're staying ahead, but nothing is actually changing because learning feels safe, execution doesn't. And at some point you confuse understanding something with actually building it. Those are two separate things. And if you're paying attention right now, you probably realize something. You're not stuck because you don't want more. You're stuck because part of you wants growth, and another part of you is trying to avoid pressure. That split is what drains people for years. So here's what I would do if I was actually you within the next 48 hours. So in the next 48 hours, I want you to do this. Step number 1, track your decisions under pressure. So that can look like this. Notice when you hesitate. That could be around pricing, visibility, around hiring somebody new, or it could be making a big decision. But whatever it is, just observe it. Don't fix it yet. And step number 2, separate urgency from thinking clearly. Before you decide to do anything important, I want you to pause. Not to stall, but to actually think cleanly. Because pressure makes things feel urgent that aren't. So that brings me to step number 3. This is the final boss. Execute one known action. Not something new, something that you know you already should have done. So no longer are we doing input, it's just output. So I want you to understand something. Out of all of this, your income doesn't usually stop because you ran out of a strategy. It stops because pressure starts changing how you operate. And most people never notice the shift happening. High performers don't get capped by ambition. They get capped by what they can stay clear under. And if there's one thing I've learned about being around high performers in different environments, it's this. Strategy matters, but clarity under pressure matters more. So if this hits something for you, subscribe. And if you want to see how you actually operate under pressure in these different environments, go to adaptivesovereignty.com and take the 5-minute test. Because most people don't hit an income ceiling because they lack intelligence. They hit it because pressure slowly changed the person of them making decisions. So until next time, guys, take care.